As roads open up and people start returning to their scorched properties following Victoria's devastating bushfires, authorities have made a grim discovery. Human remains have been found in the Longwood bushfire area, the first casualty of the blazes. Several fires have been downgraded as conditions eased and crews were able to establish containment lines. But tonight, 32 blazes are still burning out of control at Wodonga in the state's northeast, in the Otway Ranges and Longwood in central Victoria, which remains the largest fire complex. All up, more than 300 structures have been destroyed and 350,000 hectares have been burnt so far. It comes as the Prime Minister and Victorian Premier unveiled a $19.5 million support package for those affected. Nicole Asher begins our coverage.
The Harpers return to what's left of their home and pick through the rubble. It's the only house in Alexandra lost to the flames.
Thinking long term is so overwhelming right now that we are just concentrating on the next few days, few weeks.
Michael was on a 26-hour CFA shift at the time.
Heard it over the radio on their truck that we'd lost our house and managed to get up here, and it's a bit different when it's your own house, of course.
As roads open and the smoke clears, the damage wrought by the Longwood inferno has been laid bare. The first known casualty has been reported. Police finding the remains of a person 100 metres from a vehicle at Goba, east of Seymour. On Friday, flames surrounded an Akron home, inching closer by the minute. The fight to defend lasted through the night. Today, Bradley Irvine's still mopping up.
And it just basically surrounded us.
His mum, Christina, had to leave the property to help defend nearby Alexandra. She returned today. The home and livestock have been saved, but the farm's been badly damaged.
So many people have lost their houses, but I can rebuild. It's the lives we have to protect.
We've been escorted out beyond Yea, and this is the terrain that firefighters are dealing with. Now, as the wind picks up, so does the smoke, and there are wisps of smoke rising up in the background, and that's where firefighters are focusing on. They know then where the hot spots are and where they need to focus their efforts to put them out to make it safe for the days to come. Donations from Shepparton arrived in Seymour this morning.
And this is what regional communities do, this is what good neighbours do.
Farmers whose properties the fire spared, donating feed to those who weren't as lucky. There's help on the way, a Commonwealth and state government support package of $19.5 million with $10 million for fodder.
My message to Victorians is pretty simple. We've got your back.
At Wodonga in the state's northeast, aerial teams continue their fight from the air. That fire's burnt through almost 100,000 hectares. The threat isn't over. Crews worked around the clock last night to tackle two fires in the Otways in the southwest.
The fires did move around overnight, but not probably as deeply or as far as expected.
In many areas, it's still not safe to return, meaning the grim task of counting the cost across the state will take weeks. Nicole Asher, ABC News.
Let's go now to Olivia Sanders, who's in Gellibrand in the Otway Ranges tonight. Olivia, what's the situation there?
Fire authorities say the Carlisle River and Kennedy Creek fires are really concerning. That's despite favourable conditions today. Multiple fires are still yet to be brought under control. Those fires have burnt through over 3,000 hectares. Southerly winds meant that fire crews were able to begin backburning operations to try and create some really strong containment lines around the northern and western flanks of those fires. 13 aircraft were working on the Otways fires today, with operations expected to continue overnight. Some areas have been evacuated or told to shelter in place, while other emergency warnings have been downgraded. Now, today we spoke to some evacuated residents who were able to return home to the small hamlet of Gellibrand. That's about 20 minutes south of Colac. And they told us they were hugely relieved to find that their small community had been untouched by the blazes. Fire authorities are unable to tell us yet whether there have been any property losses, and that's because the fires are just burning in such dense bushland that it is not yet safe to go in and do those assessments.
Thanks, Olivia. Now let's go to Ashlee Aldridge at the Wodonga Relief Centre. Ash, how are the residents holding up? They're about to spend their second night there.
Yeah, that's right, Danny. It's another anxious night for the more than 30 residents that have been evacuated here to Wodonga from the many towns across the region that this fire is impacting. Now, we now know that this fire has burnt through more than 97,000 hectares. More than 300 firefighting personnel are on the ground from Victoria and interstate, and they're being assisted by more than 30 fire appliances. Now, we have confirmed today that 4 homes have been lost in this blaze, and there's been significant agricultural impact and a pine plantation of more than 10,000 hectares. Now, firefighters have been doing all they can to try and minimise the spread and impact of this fire. Challenging fire conditions. Now, I spoke with 81-year-old Corryong resident Maury Fon. He is an evacuee here in Wodonga. He says he's really hopeful for some good news in the coming days. Here's a little bit more of what he had to say.
I'm 8 k's east of Corryong, so depending on which way the wind decides to turn, reasonably, 20% confident that I may be spared, which I was last time.
Now, authorities are predicting milder conditions tonight with winds easing, and there are some isolated showers expected across Victoria on Tuesday. So hopefully a reprieve for firefighters to get on top of these fires that are still burning out of control. Danny?
Ashlee Aldridge in Wodonga and Olivia Sanders in Gellibrand, thank you. Now, the central Victorian town of Harcourt has been one of the hardest hit by the fires. Up to 50 structures have been lost since the blaze ripped through on Friday, and residents are only now being escorted back to see the scale of destruction. Oliver Gordon has this story.
Parts of this once thriving town now in ruins. The Prime Minister and Premier joining a devastated community, assessing the loss from the Ravenswood fire.
It's a small community, a beautiful community. It's known for its apple growing, its beautiful produce, its beautiful landscape that's just been ravaged by these terrible fires.
In this community alone, the losses run deep. 47 homes and 3 businesses destroyed in the blaze that fire crews had no hope of controlling.
From what we saw straight off the bat, we were going to struggle to stop this fire.
Many residents returning home to charred remains, while others miraculously escaped.
We're lucky, you know. We've got our friends and family and our house is okay, but those people have lost so much.
My parents have basically been here all of, their lives. Nothing that I know of has been like this drastic in fires.
It's a pretty close-knit community, Harcourt here. This is not going to knock them down, but it's going to be a slow return, I feel.
On this side of the road, a home completely destroyed. All that's left is a chimney and a letterbox. On the other side of the road, though, we see the cricket oval, almost completely unscathed. Crews today have been working to restore a rail bridge impacted by the fires, the only rail link between Melbourne and Bendigo. The start of a long process to rebuild. Oliver Gordon, ABC News, Harcourt.